Welcome to ReachOut. Today, let's explore creating and managing invoices to streamline your billing and payments. To begin, let's set up your invoicing preferences. Navigate to Settings, then Preferences, Invoice, and select Invoice Settings. Here, you can customize the default information and terms that will appear in all the invoices you create and share with your customers. Simply click the pencil icon to add your from address, check payable address, bank details, tax ID, and taxes rate, etc., and save. After that, you can add the specific terms and conditions applicable to all the invoices. Now let's create an invoice. You can create an invoice on the ReachOut mobile app or web application. For your field agent to add an invoice via the mobile app, navigate to the inspection or work order currently being executed by him within the app. In the Job Details page, locate and tap on Create Invoice under the Agent Checklist section. At the top right corner of the screen, tap on the Kebab menu and select the Add New Item option to add invoice items. Additionally, the agent can obtain the customer's signature for approval before finalizing the job, after which the invoice has to be reviewed by the admin. Let's focus on reviewing invoices created by your field agents. The Invoices page lists all the jobs for which invoices have already been generated by your field agents. Click on Invoice ID to open and view an invoice. You can review the invoice here, and if everything is satisfactory, you can proceed to the next step of downloading it or sharing it with the customer via email. In case your review demands a revision of the invoice, use the Action drop-down menu and select the Create a Revision option to revise the invoice. You can change the due date, add, edit, or delete invoice items, or add a discount here. You also have the option to add a note specifying the reasons behind the invoice change, or adding details about payment terms, warranty details, or a thank you note, which will appear as part of the invoice when it is shared with the customer. You can also edit the Terms and Conditions section before finalizing and clicking on Generate Invoice. Since you are revising an already created invoice, ReachOut will throw an exception on it and let you choose which invoice has to be considered void. You can choose the old one to be marked as void. The revised invoice will be added to the Invoices list, which you can open and send to the customer for payment. When the customer makes a full payment, you can check the Mark Invoice as Paid checkbox on the invoice page to mark the invoice status as paid. Another scenario is when field agents complete jobs without creating invoices. Then you've got to create the invoice at your end. And to do this, you have two ways: Quick Create and going to CRM, Invoices, and then clicking on Invoice. Select an existing customer or use the Create New Customer option to add a new one. Select the source, add a due date, and start adding invoice items. If you want, you can add a discount or add notes here. Next, add the terms and conditions, which you can edit here if needed. You can preview the invoice and ensure everything is all right before clicking on Generate Invoice. A third scenario is when field agents complete jobs even without work orders, or when every month you have to create a monthly invoice as part of service contracts or AMCs. Here, to create an invoice, go to the Invoices page and click Invoice. Select a customer. There's no need to add a source here since it's direct invoicing. Add a due date, proceed to fill in the rest of the details, and click on Generate Invoice. After creating an invoice, the subsequent stages of processing will go through you. After a thorough review, you can download the invoice as a PDF or share it with the customer via email. If there's a need to nullify an invoice due to errors or other reasons, you can mark it as void without deleting it from the system. You can also archive the invoice using the option listed in the Action dropdown. On the Invoices page, you can see the invoice status reflecting its position within the billing cycle. Also, the option to integrate QuickBooks Online with your ReachOut is also provided for direct export of invoices. And there you have it, an efficient invoicing process with ReachOut. For any queries or assistance, reach out to our support team.